Mountain News, First at 4, continues. A country music singer out of Nashville made his way to eastern Kentucky this morning with lots of flood relief donations. WYMT's Dakota Makris is at the donation site with more from the singer.
Country music singer and songwriter T. Graham Brown brought much-needed supplies to flood survivors here at East Perry Elementary School.
It's hell and high water you're going through, but come hell or high water, we'll be praying for you.
That was T. Graham Brown singing part of his #1 country hit, Hell and High Water. He and his team loaded up a trailer full of water, diapers, and 436 gallons of cleaning sprays and detergent. He says he visited some hard-hit areas in Perry County, saying it is unbelievable what he saw.
I've been to where tornadoes had hit. It's very similar to that. It's just like explosions went off. You know, man, it's horrible. You've seen it on TV, and it's, even when you're there in person, it's like, good Lord Almighty, what is this?
Brown also has T-shirts that say, come hell or high water. Those are $25 each, and those proceeds go to flood relief efforts. In Perry County, I'm Dakota Makris, WYMT Mountain News.
Brown donated generators to the Hazard Fire Department. City leaders say those will be available for people to check out. For more information on that, you can call the fire department. 1 week later, the stories of people in our communities who've been affected by the floods have certainly not slowed down. Jordan Childers says he hopes that his story will encourage someone else. When the waters started rising in his and his girlfriend's home last Thursday morning, Childers says all that was going through his mind was to help as many people as he could.
It wasn't really about what our possessions anymore. It was about, I guess, trying to save everybody. Like fight or flight kicks in, and just chose to fight and then try to help other people because we'd already lost everything. There wasn't no saving it.
He said he made sure his girlfriend's family that lived beside them made it out of their house, and then he swam next door and started helping other neighbors out of their homes. He said they lost everything except for a couple personal items they grabbed on the way out. We'll have more of their story tonight at 6. Homes and businesses in Neon are filled with water still, and of course mud after the flooding. Water levels got to be near 10 feet in some places, taking out almost anything in its way. Now the town is beginning to clean up, and Mayor Susie Polis says she's glad others from outside the town have come in to help.
It's overwhelming, but it's heartwarming to know that we've had people come in here that don't know us from Adam's House Cat.
Mayor Polis also says she believes the town will come back and be better than before. We'll have more on the destruction in the Neon community of Letcher County coming up tonight at 6. Churches in the area are coming together all over to help the community, and one family in particular in need. Corbin Full Gospel Church came to the House of Refuge Pentecostal Church in Yerkes with supplies to hand out to families affected by flooding. But one woman was given more than just food and clothes. The church invited Tracy Williams and her family to live in the building after floods damaged her home last week.
There was a mudslide behind our house and trees fell on our buildings, and it was already teetering on the block, so it's pretty much got it in pretty bad shape.
Williams and her family are safe and are helping with this week's drive-through. During their stay, the House of Refuge Pentecostal Church is looking for help from any person affected by flooding, looking to help any person affected by flooding, and will continue handing out clothes, food, and household items until Saturday. Some flood victims from Breathitt County woke up in a new shelter today. Red Cross officials moved residents to the Wellness Center in Morgan County. Debbie Rainier is the executive director for the Eastern Kentucky chapter of the American Red Cross. She says right now there are more than 460 people and families being sheltered by the Red Cross throughout Eastern Kentucky. Rainier says the Red Cross will be bringing in caseworkers to talk with each of these flood victims to figure out what the next steps in their recovery are.
They try to work out going back home. You know, if there is a home to go to. If not, then they just assess their situation and move it on, you know, to whoever needs to help them go back to their future.
Reporting in Morgan County, Jim Stroud.
Rainier said there is not a definite timeline for how long the shelter could remain open. We want to remind you once again, we are partnering with WKYT in Lexington and WSAZ in Charleston, Huntington, West Virginia for Appalachia Rises, a week of giving. Our goal is to support the ARH Foundation Fund for flood relief and the Foundation for Appalachian Kentucky Crisis Fund. Hazard native Joe Kraft and his wife, former UN Ambassador Kelly Knight Kraft, will match every dollar raised for the Foundation for Appalachian Kentucky Crisis Fund up to $1.5 million. You can get involved in the fundraising effort by scanning the QR code on your screen or by going to our website.
Well, if you ever wanted to know what an isolated shower looks like, I'd take you no further than the London Corbin Airport camera right now. We've got a plane on the runway at this moment. Behind it, that's a shower that's going up in the western portions of Laurel County. So a beautiful look there at kind of how the atmosphere works. Dark clouds there, some light rain already beginning to move to the ground as we head into the afternoon. That'll cool it off from where it's at 86 right now there. Downtown Whitesburg's quiet. 87 right now, partly cloudy skies. Dew points at 67 though, so it feels like 90. An area breeze to cool us off. Few areas cooler. Jackson's at 78, Irvin's at 77, and Moorhead's at 72 from where they've seen a few of those showers and storms. And there's Monticello coming in at 75 as well. They're getting in on the act at the moment. Otherwise, middle 80s. Combine that with dew points in the upper 60s to near 70, even the low to mid 70s in some spots. It feels closer to the low to mid 90s around the region, and that's going to continue with that heat advisory in our hardest hit flood counties. There's that heavy downpour on top of Monticello. That will continue scooting off to the north, so that'll be moving toward places like Burnside and Somerset here over the next little bit, there into portions of Pulaski County. There's that shower we were talking about west of London, a few more east of McKee, and one right about on top of downtown Paintsville with some showers behind it into Morgan, Menifee, and Rowan counties. So we'll continue to see these move off to the north and east as we head through tonight, and we'll keep an eye on more development out to the west. I don't think we're done with the showers and storms yet, but still plenty of dry time on the way. Full details coming up in just a little bit. Steve?
Evan, thank you. Federal charges are being brought against 4 officers who allegedly violated Breonna Taylor's civil rights back in 2020. Detective Joshua Janes with the Louisville Metropolitan Police Department obtained the no-knock warrant used in the search of Taylor's apartment. Janes, Kelly Goodlett, and Sergeant Kyle Meany were charged with falsifying an affidavit. In a separate indictment, Brett Hankison was charged with using excessive force while executing a search warrant.
What happened today was profound because you have willful deprivation of Breonna Taylor's constitutional rights that led to her death. I mean, that is a profound statement. Officer James and Officer Menley can face up to life in prison. And then Officer Hankinson, charged with violation of Breonna Taylor's constitutional rights, can face how long? Life in prison as well.
In an announcement today, Attorney General Merrick Garland said that falsifying the warrant is what ultimately led to Taylor's death because those officers should have never been in her home and, quote, Breonna Taylor should be alive today. A court in Russia convicted U.S. basketball star Brittany Griner of drug possession and sentenced her to 9 years in prison and fined her 1 million rubles, which is about $16,700. The verdict ended a politically charged trial that came amid soaring tensions between Moscow and Washington and could lead to a high-stakes prisoner exchange between the two world powers. Earlier in the session, with a conviction all but certain, Griner made a final emotional appeal to the court for leniency. She said she had no intention to break the law by bringing vape cartridges with cannabis oil when she flew to Moscow in February to play basketball. Coming up on First at 4, legislators are working on a spending bill to address a number of issues, but will Democrats be able to pass it before the August recess?
Well, showers and storms are roaming the mountains right now, and I don't think we're finished with them just yet. The full details coming up.
WYMT